Your Majesty, the Kabaka of Buganda, Ronald Mwenda Mutebi II, permit me to welcome this congregation. Your Excellency, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the Mugole President of Uganda, the Kyabazinga of Busoga, fellow Ugandans, n'Obuganda bwonna. Okusookera ddala mu linnya ly'abantu ba Buganda ne mu linnya lyange nsooka okukulisa Oweekitiibwa President olutalo lwe yakawangula. Seewo President kulikira ddala. Era neebaza mwenna abasobodde okujja wano okusabira Obuganda n'okusabira Uganda ku lunaku luno olukulu ennyo. Ng'era bwe mukiwuliddeko emabega nga bakulu b'eddiini bakyogera, tukuŋŋaanye wano okujjukira bwe giweze emyaka 3 bukya Lubiri luno lulumbibwa. Nkwebaza nnyo Ssaabasajja mu linnya lya Buganda okusalawo okujjukira olunaku luno mu ngeri bw'eti. Okulumba olubiri kyali kikolwa kya ntiisa eri Obuganda n'eri Uganda yonna. Anti abantu bangi baafa, ebintu bingi ne byonoonebwa, era n'omwagalwa waffe Ssekabaka Edward Muteesa n'agenda mu muwaŋŋanguse era ejje yakisiza omukono. Olunaku olwa 24/66 teruyinza kwerabirwa, anti era enkyukakyuka nnyingi ezibaddewo mu Uganda zivudde ku ebyo ebyaddirira okulumbibwa kw'olubiri luno. Naye ng'era bannaddiini bwe bagambye, tuteekwa okusonyiwagana okusobola okuzimba Uganda eyannamaddala. Tulina essuubi ddene nti abantu ba Uganda basobola okuwuliziganya obulungi n'okugonjoola ensonga nga bayita mu kuteesa ne mu kwesigaŋŋana. Nga bwe nagambye mu kusooka, okulumba olubiri kyaleetera Buganda ebizibu bingi. Obwakabaka bwaggyibwawo n'ebintu bya Buganda bingi ne biwambibwa n'ebirala ne bisaanyizibwawo. Wabula kaakati tulina okwenyumiriza ti Ssaabasajja Kabaka waffe Mutebi II yatikkirwa nga 31 Julayi 1993. Tetulema kwebaza President Museveni na buli muntu yenna yasobola okubaako kyakola ekyasobozesa Kabaka waffe okuddawo. Mu ngeri y'emu n'ebintu bya Buganda ebimu ng'olubiri luno we tuli, ettaka ly'Obwakabaka erimu, Bulange n'ebirala nabyo byatuddizibwa. Kino nakyo twakisanyukira era tusiima bwongerwa. Era tulina essuubi, Sir President, ti n'ensonga endala eziruma abantu ba Buganda, President Museveni nga wakava mu kisenge ng'omazeeko obugole wagenda ojja kuvaayo mangu. N'olwekyo nga bwe yavuddeyo ajja kwongera ensonga ezo okuzitunulamu nga bw'abadde akola bulijjo, nazo zitereezebwe tutambule bulungi ng'eggwanga lyagalana. Mukama wange Ssaabasajja Kabaka wa Buganda, Obuganda n'abagenyi bo abakuŋŋaanye wano balindiridde n'amaddu mangi okuwulira ebiva gy'oli.
His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of Uganda, the Right Honourable the Prime Minister of Uganda, Their Excellencies the ambassadors and high commissioners, Isabantu Chabazinga of Busoga, the Prince Regent of Toro, and the Batebe, Omulangira John Barije of Ankole, Owekitiibwa the Katikkiro of Buganda, Omulangira George William Mawanda Chwa, Princes and Princesses, the Right Reverend the Archbishop of Uganda, the Archbishop of SDA, the Right Reverend the Bishops and other religious leaders, distinguished guests, abataka abakulu aba Buganda, abantu baffe mwenna abaami n'abakyala. I begin firstly by welcoming His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, and all the guests from inside and outside Buganda and Uganda to remember the storming of the Lubiri by Uganda Army troops on the morning of 24th of May 1966. Once again, I congratulate President Museveni on his victory in the presidential elections which were just concluded. Mr. President, may the Lord guide you as you steer the ship of state to greater peace, stability, and development. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I decided to remember the 24th May because it is of great significance to my family, Buganda, and Uganda. The events of that fateful day changed our lives as a family and the lives of the Baganda and Ugandans in a fundamental way, and many people are still trying to come to terms with the changes the events of the 24th of May 1966 brought about. I thank the Lord for having enabled my father, the late Kabaka II, and some of his aides for having successfully fought their way from the burning palace to safety. We should remember the clergy at Rubaga for the hospitality they offered my father at his greatest hour of need and for assisting him to escape to safety. I thank all his loyal subjects who assisted him on his long march to freedom. I also acknowledge the contribution of the British government who agreed to accept him as a refugee and all those who supported him and comforted him in the loneliness of his London exile. Let us remember all those who stood by him and fought on his side and died at the hands of the Uganda Army, of which he was Commander-in-Chief. Let us remember all those who were imprisoned and tortured. Let us remember all those who lost their loved ones, and those that had to live in constant fear of the authorities, and those who were traumatized by the violence unleashed by the authorities. This has been a very sad chapter in the history of our country, but we cannot skip it because there are lessons to be learned from it that can greatly contribute to the building of a peaceful and united Uganda. On that fateful day, the Lubiri, which is the embodiment of Uganda culture and traditions and the very soul of Buganda, went up in flames and brought to a halt almost 1,000 years of history. For once in her long history, Buganda was without a king. She became an anthill without the queen. But we never lost hope that one day our cultural integrity as Buganda would be restored. and we thank God that that integrity which we craved and cherish was restored in 1993. However, the Baganda cannot continue to mourn indefinitely for what was lost. We should not continue to labor under the burden of self-pity, because this self-pity will destroy our soul and therefore our resolve to rebuild Buganda. I'd like to tell our people that 30 years of mourning are enough. Now is the time to begin rebuilding Buganda with our brains and hands. No greater tribute can be paid by us to the memory of those who suffered and died at the hands of tyrants than the building of Buganda in all respects. The place to begin in the building of Buganda is the discipline of our youth. Buganda was built on discipline, and I therefore charge parents and opinion leaders in Buganda to inculcate discipline amongst our youth. They are the ones who are going to build the new Buganda of our dreams, and they must therefore have the discipline to do so. I ask all the leaders in this crusade to lead by example. That is the only way our youth will learn to lead disciplined lives. It is sweat and toil that makes countries prosperous. The Baganda must therefore sweat and toil to make the land of their ancestors a prosperous place to live in once again. The Baganda should stop running away from Buganda in the hope that somehow, miraculously, somebody else will develop the land for them to come back to when it begins to flow with milk and honey. Nobody will develop the land for us but ourselves, and this is the greatest challenge that we face. The Baganda used to derive great pride and satisfaction in the payment of taxes in the past. Baganda were very proud of their good manners. Let us rediscover that pride and use it to rebuild Buganda and Uganda. Buganda was built on accommodation, that is, accepting other people and other cultures. And the palaces of the Kabakas were the melting pots of nationalities and talents. Buganda still today stands on her proud record of accommodation, but what we ask for is reciprocity. Indeed, Uganda would become a very strong and united nation if there was reciprocity all around. Lastly, let me make this pledge. The Omulembe Omutebi will be one of reconciliation, unity, peace, and development. I thank all of you who have come here today. God bless you. Katonda abakuume. I'd like to invite His Excellency, the President, to address this gathering.
Your Highness, the Kabaka of Uganda, His Highness, the Kyabazinga of Busoga, the delegates from the other kingdoms, the religious leaders, the members of the diplomatic corps, and all of you Ugandans who are here today. First of all, I would like to congratulate His Highness the Kabaka for holding this commemoration. I think this is a very wise decision, because some people think wrongly that reconciliation will be built on cover-up. That's what some people wrongly think. They think that if you cover up, you will get reconciliation. I don't believe in that line. I believe in exposing, in criticizing, in correcting, so that we build on a sound basis for the future. Kyensokedeko banange kiri nti nebaza Kabaka, His Highness the Kabaka, kulw'okujjukira olunaku luno, kubanga mbalowooza nti okuzimba eggwanga lyaffe tugenda okulizimbira ku bulimba n'okubikirira ebyambyone ebyagwawo. Okubikirira si kirungi, oteekwa okunaaza, onaazize ddala oluvannyuma ozimbe. The second point I would like to make today, since the elections, when I left Kololo, I went to look after my cows at Kisoze. I was looking after my cows, because that's my real job. And I have been getting newspapers there. I've been reading through these newspapers. These experts in misanalysis have been trying to analyze what happened in Uganda, and really they waste a lot of paper. I can see one journalist who said I should not tax newspapers, but if they are writing nothing, I don't see why we should not tax them. If they were writing something useful, I would think of not taxing them. Now, the analysis, these people have been trying to analyze why we won with such a big margin. Why did Museveni win? Why did so-and-so lose? But all they are saying is wrong. There's nothing correct in all they are saying. It's now more than a week. Bibogera byonna si bituufu. Abamawulire tewalumu ekituufu kibogera abagezaako what do you call analysis to get? Okusoma. Okusengejja ebyabaawo. Naye ekizibu ekibaddewo kibadde nti bano abaali batuvuganya bagezaako okukola ekitasoboka. Y'ensonga enkulu, kubanga okumala emyaka 30 eno eyise tubadde n'enjuyi bbiri, tubadde n'enjuyi bbiri, oludda lw'abannakyemalira n'oludda lw'abanunuzi, zibadde enjuyi bbiri. Just two sides. We've been having just two sides, not three. Oludda lw'abannakyemalira n'oludda lw'abanunuzi, ze zibadde politics za Uganda okumala emyaka 30 kuva omwami Obote lwe yalumba olubiri luno, kubanga yalumba omu ngeri ya kukozesa emundu omu kifo ky'okukozesa akalulu. N'olwekyo okuva olwo enjuyi zibadde bbiri, oludda lw'abanunuzi n'oludda lw'abannakyemalira. Kati mikwano gyange bano b'empangudde olwayita, bagezako okukola ekitasoboka okuteekawo oludda olwokusatu, nti waliwo oludda olwokusatu. Oludda olwokusatu luvuddewa ng'enjuyi zibadde bbiri, lw'abannakyemalira n'abanunuzi b'eddembe. Naye bano ne bagezako okukola ekitasoboka nti waliwo ate oludda lweruki. Ekyandibadde ekituufu kale ng'omwami Semwogera okukkiriza bannakyemalira ne bamwelimbikamu ne bamugira emabega, yali ensobe y'amaanyi. Mwebale nnyo okumubonereza, mwebale abaawona okumubonereza. kubanga omuntu wakola nsobe mu mukoba kibooko mwebala okukola ekintu ekyo. This is the explanation for what happened. All this they are writing is rubbish. Nothing. The issue was that for the last 30 years, in the politics of Uganda, we've been having only two sides. The side of the dictators and the side of the freedom fighters. The side of oppression and the side of liberation. But these gentlemen, they thought they could create a third side. A side which is not for liberation, not for tyranny, but when in fact tyranny is trying to reassert itself. That's why it was impossible. So in other words, if you want to analyze what happened, there are a few simple words in which you can summarize it. There was also another talk. This is from the diplomats. The ground is not level. Of course the ground was not level. It couldn't be level. How could we have a level ground between freedom fighters and collaborators? It's impossible. Ground had to be unlevel because we have been fighting for freedom when some people have been sitting down. So how could the ground be level? It was not level. We have been fighting for freedom. Twarangebya nganze ndimo ngena mu kanisa ya Archbishop Nkoyoyo. But I am not very active there. Sigenda yo nyo. Enda buli Sunday sigenda yo. Kati bwengenda okwesimbawo ngasaba Kristo. Kubanga abakristayo bagenda mange katakadiye. Mange akadiye naye emyaka 50. Mange oyo yagendaga kusaba ku Lwokusatu. Waliwo akawungeze basabanga akawungeze ku Lwokusatu. Ku Lwokutaano n'addayo n'asaba akawungeze. Ku Sunday n'addayo n'asaba. Ate bw'asaba naffe ababulijjo abakristayo ababulijjo bwe tumala ate yeyongeramu akalala. Kaloro bwe nava wano kubanga nange ndi mukristayo Kristo wendi. Niwe kyandibadde sigenda buli Sunday sigenda naye Kristo wendi. Mbakristayo nange bambalamu. Kati omusajja abadde atudde emyaka eyo 30 nganze kati bwe sigenda nnyo okukungana n'avaayo nti mumpe wasaba Kristo. So this is the real explanation. So to summarize the position of the recent politics, especially for the diplomats. You see, the diplomats, they also waste a lot of paper writing to their government, this and that and that. They could hire me as a consultant. Things would be very simple. They would inform their government very easily. The position by those who opposed the liberation movement was simply untenable. It was not possible in Uganda of today. That's why the people of Uganda woke up and like one person rejected any idea to interfere with the liberation process. That's why we are here today. We are here today in order to consolidate the liberation process. And we shall consolidate it. Okujjako ensonga mi okajja badde bakozesa bulimba. Ate webadde obunafu. Buno obululu semugere bweyaja wano obwayononekera kiwulula 25 ku 10 ng'obwayononeka kubanga bwali bwaki obululu mulabo twagala kubujjeyo buno obutonotono obwalagala ne buva omukibo ky'abanonuzi ne bugendayo ne bwononekera eyo bali kibali bakozesa bwali bulimba n'olwekyo naffe aba liberation naffe tubaddewo n'obunafu oba okutategeeza obulungi bamwananchi ne bamanyirawo naye kibaddewo kati babadde bagenda balimba ffe netulimbulula ne balimba netulimbulula nga ekyo kifulumya peteroli mungi kyandibadde kirungi okubasookayo bana yinchi ne bategererawo watali okulinda okulimbulula. So really to explain recent events is simply to say for the last 30 years we have been having two sides here. The side of freedom on the one hand and the side of dictatorship. Now when we come here to remember the 24th of May 1966, we are simply continuing that process. And it's correct. Some people, as I said at the beginning, should not deceive us by saying that in order to reconcile, we need to cover up the past. This is not a good way of reconciliation. Reconciliation means genuine repentance. If you don't repent, there is normally no reconciliation. If you reconcile without repenting, that is cover up. That is okulumbibwa. Therefore, again, I would like to thank His Highness the Kabaka for having thought of this idea. He's the one who thought about it, and he rang me, and of course I welcomed it, because this is education for the youth. Because there's also that danger that the youth are not informed about all these happenings. Because somebody who was a baby in 1966 is now 30 years. He doesn't know what happened. Now, the very perpetrators of the same problems can come back and deceive this young boy or young lady that they are good people. And since he's not informed, he can easily fall prey to their machinations. So I think it's good when we commemorate the past, we are not being vindictive. We shall forgive. But let us forgive with understanding, not with a cover-up. I am here because you remember I'm still Minister of Defense. You know, I have not to change the government. You know, before the elections, some people are misbehaving. They were threatening to beat people, you know. Says, "Wetunawangula, tugendo kubanyagurura. Wetunawangula, tugendo kubata. Wetunawangula." Iyo munyankala wagambira munange nti etaka bajiro tebanyama. Tuyinza kulaba ente tambula mu luguudo n'ogamba nti nyama kubanga ekyatambula munange si nyama. So ko gibage efuke nyama. So these people were threatening. They forgot that I was still Minister of Defense, and that would never allow bad things to happen here. So you see the threats which were there before elections. When I came back from the campaign, I made that address on the radio, and everybody fortunately got the message that we shall not allow any fujo, and it was not allowed. I laugh when I see, I was reading in the paper the other day, there's some mutiny in Central African Republic. There's one country known as African country known as Central African Republic. Armies have come from France, armies have come from America to put down a mutiny. Abawali bakola kibanange kulwaki oba basirikale bedimi tumbakuba. You see, capacity, we must have capacity to manage our own affairs. We had elections, we controlled our own situation. The only people who came were observers. They did not come to control the situation for us. Ndi musanyufu okulaba nti abana Uganda basobola okweyimirizaawo mu nsonga zino. It's very good, very good. So I'm still Minister of Defense. In the old government, because the old government has not changed. And I am here right now as a tenant of His Highness the Kabaka, because this is his land, this is his property. He got the property back, but he allowed me to stay there for 4 years while I'm preparing to move to Bombo. We have already repaired Bombo, and I am paying you rent. Nsasula ndi musenze mulungi nsasula. Wetunamala okutegeka bakerera mu Katonda okusasula naye basasula oluvannyuma. N'olwekyo nze ndaba ebintu bitambula bulungi. really there is no serious crisis. Tewali kizibu ky'amaanyi. Within a few years, maybe 2 years, we shall have moved from here. The Kabaka will be in full possession of his property here. So, nze ndaba ebintu bitambula bulungi. Tewali nsonga there's no reason for panicking or excitement. Two final points. Uganda is now fully back on the road to constitutional governance. Of course, we are going to uphold this system. The national resistance movement is a very strong force. It's a very strong force. Some people were underestimating us for reasons I did not understand really. I don't know how anybody could underestimate us, but they were. They thought that we were a shallow force. But we are a strong force, both in politics and also in security. Therefore, on behalf of the national resistance movement, I would like to stand here and tell all Ugandans and all foreigners who are here and those who are not here that the future of Uganda is stable. There is no need. You know, during the election, some Indians went to Nairobi that they were fearing some problem. There's nothing. And even if my colleague Chivirija had won electorally, I would have gone to him, because I'm still in the army. I would have gone to him and saluted. I'm a Lieutenant General of the army. I would have gone to him and saluted and said, Your Excellency, now, how can I help you to control the security? Tewaliwo omuntu agenda kutabula Uganda byogera mpewo just empty head. So I would like all of you Ugandans to feel secure. And even if Semugore had won with this Bayai whom he had collected here, who were looting, you know, those people were looting people's properties in Bukomansimbi, in Jalamba, in Masaka. They were taking people's food without paying for it. But even if Semugore would have won, I'm still a Lieutenant General of the army. I would have gone to Semugore, saluted, Your Excellency. People are looting. Because it is the duty of the president to stop looting. And I would have stopped him I would have helped him to stop the looting. Because I'm still a loyal soldier. Or a loyal citizen. So, but we will get into Uganda, tewali kintu kyonna. Byagwa, biri ebyokutabula byagwa, finished. So people should settle down. Should settle down and learn how to earn a piece of bread himself. Not looting other people's property, not depending on this, not tutekwa okutuula wansi, tukanye, tukole n'amaanyi. Government kati eri bulungi, enyingiza yaffe egenda yeeyongera eya gavumenti. Mbaddeyo mu kyalo ekisozi n'abantu bange eyo Mugomba, Butambala, Bukomansimbi, Mawogola, bona kati bali betegese buli omu okulaba nti alembeka ayingiza mu nyumba ye. N'olwekyo nze ndaba nti omumaaso eyo tuli bulungi. Uganda is secure. It is secured by ourselves. Not by foreign forces, not by what? By ourselves. Nobody can disturb Uganda. I'm very sure about this.